mountain with my drum in hand. I'll play you some tribal rhythms if you'll dance with me, my friend. We'll dance right in the moonlight, we'll dance right in the sand. Beneath these golden mountain tops, we'll dance right to the end. And we will hold our hands while we stroll. For you I give my heart, for you I give my soul. The miracle of you is the miracle of me. For you I give my everything. The miracle of you is the miracle of me. For you I give my everything.
Come on back to your Father's truth and return to the holy root. Come on back to the wisdom of home and realize that you're not alone. Shine your light like your mother said, for you were there when we were led. And there's a path for us all to see. Just grab that lamp that's at your feet. Etz Chaim Hi Chazikim ba B'tom Cheha Meusha. You can hear it, it's in the breeze. It's a story written in the leaves. And though those branches, they may wind and weave, it's a tree of life. Etz Chaim, Etz Chaim Hi Chazikim ba B'tom Cheha Meusha. Etz Chaim Hi Chazikim ba find a seat, light those lights that usher peace. You can feel it, it's in your bones. It's a growing song that calls you home. Etz Chaim Hi Chazikim ba Chazikim ba
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. So nice to be here with you. It was certainly a lovely day here in Southern California. Hope wherever you are, it was equally as lovely. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Cantor Paul Bush from Temple Beth Israel in Pomona, California. Usually I am sharing this space with Rabbi Jonathan Kupitz. Rabbi Kupitz will not be with us tonight. He's as a HUC, Hebrew Union College educated rabbi, part of his responsibility and opportunity is to train new rabbis, those who will follow in his footsteps. And even in this period of COVID changes, mentoring still takes place, and Rabbi is joining one of his mentees on her virtual service this evening, or at least observing. So you got me, and our usual contribution from Randy Polvoy will be coming up. I want to thank in advance Eli Kupitz, Rabbi's son, for filling some of the responsibilities that the rabbi takes on in terms of sharing texts with us, so we can all follow along in the service together. Also want to wish you Chodesh Tov. Today is, of course, it's Shabbat, but we also begin with this Shabbat, the Hebrew month of Adar. Today is the first of Adar, traditionally because it is a 30-day month that precedes the month of Adar. We have 2 days of Rosh Chodesh, so some people have been celebrating Rosh Chodesh for 2 days, but for us, this is the day. So we'll have a little bit of a special blessing for the new month. And because it is the new month of Adar, just want to remind you that Purim is coming up in 13 days on the 13th of Adar. It's 2 weeks from this past Thursday evening, and today, during the daytime, is Purim for us. And because it is the Shabbat, 2 Shabbats before Purim, it's also Shabbat Shekalim. Shabbat Shekalim in traditional synagogues, they read a special portion of the Torah that describes how each member of the community is to contribute a shekel to communal support. So our focus, to a certain extent, is on ethics and communal responsibilities, and we'll be talking about that a little later on as we reflect on this week's Torah portion, which is a different portion than the passage from Shekalim that is usually studied and read comes from, but is still relevant to the topic. So Eli, if you want to put up our Shalom Aleichem, we're going to start with words of welcome. Shalom Aleichem on page 24. I'm going to take off my spotlight. So actually, let me look at one thing, because I don't know the answer to this, because I'm just generally not. Yeah, good. I don't have to do anything. Eli's in control. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malchei, Malchei, Malchei Elyon, Mimelech, Mimelech, Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh, Baruch Hu, HaKadosh, Baruch Hu, Bochem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malchei, Malchei, Malchei Elyon, Mimelech, Mimelech, Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh, Baruch Hu, HaKadosh, Baruch Hu. Baruchuni L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malchei, Malchei, Malchei Elyon, Mimelech, Mimelech, Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yadadadai, 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 Zeitchem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malchei, malchei, malchei elyon, mimelech, mimelech, malchei amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yadadadai, 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 So, Shalom Alechem, Alechem Shalom, peace unto you. I invite you, if you have your own Siddur, or if you're following along in an electronic version different than the one on the screen, which is our regular prayer book. And all of these prayer books are available for download as ebooks. So you can have your own if you choose to. Anyway, we're going to turn back to page 2. And we're going to welcome our Shabbat lights, which have been previously kindled in our family service right behind me. So if the custom is to kindle lights together with us, I invite you to get ready to do that at this point as we say our blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. As is our custom, we take a break after we light our Shabbat candles to reflect on the week, to consider some of its challenges, but also to reflect on the positive aspects of our lives that were emphasized during this past week, and kind of clear the table, as you will, so that we can enjoy a Shabbat of rest, of wholeness, and of regeneration. So I would invite us to just take a brief moment to close our eyes, take a couple of deep cleansing breaths, and to do that. And then we will continue with our welcoming prayer for the Shabbat bride, where we symbolically image the Shabbat queen or the Shabbat bride as entering our midst with Lecha Dodi in just a brief moment. Page 20. It's our custom to do verses 1, 5, 7, and 9. Sorry, I'm just adjusting my screen so I can see the shared screen. Thanks, Eli. Here we go. Lechadoni likrat kalai alalai 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 b'nei Shabbat lechakabela. Lechadoni likrat kalai alalai 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 b'nei Shabbat lechakabela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad Ishmeanu el hamyuchad Adonai echad ushmo echad l'shem ultiferet v'litchila lechadodi likrat kalai alalai 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 b'nei Shabbat kekabela lechadodi likrat kalai alalai 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 b'nei Shabbat kekabela likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki mekor habracha merosh mikedem nisucha sof ma'aseh b'matshva tchila lechadodi likrat kalai alalai 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 b'nei Shabbat kekabela lechadodi likrat kalai alalai 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 b'nei Shabbat kekabela hitoreri hitoreri kiva orech kumi ori uri uri shidaberi kevod Adonai alayich tigla lechadodi likrat kalai alalai 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 b'nei Shabbat kekabela lechadodi likrat kalai alalai 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 b'nei Shabbat kekabela boi v'shalom ateret bala gam b'simcha uvtzola toch emunei am segula boi chala boi chala lechadoni likrat kalai alalai 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 b'nei Shabbat kekabela lechadoni likrat kalai alalai 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 b'nei Shabbat kekabela. Continue with Chatzi Kaddish on page 26, I believe. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah Be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei B'chai echon u'v'yom echon U'v'chayei dechol ben Yisrael Bagala bagala u'v'zman kariv Veimeru, Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabbah Mivara, Le'alam Ulamei Almaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, Ve'yishtabach, Ve'yitpa'ar, Ve'yitramam, Ve'yitnasei, Ve'yithadar, Ve'yitaleh, Ve'yithalal, Shemei de Kudesha Berichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma ve'imeru Amen. Continue with our call to prayer, Baruch Hu. Yadadai-dai-dai, 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 yadadai-dai-dai. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Do you understand? Am I awake? Am I aware? Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Le'olam Va'ed. Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Last three lines at the bottom of page 30. El Chai v'Kayam Tamim L'Chaleinu L'Olam Va'ed Baruch Atah Adonai Hamariv Haravim. As we turn to our next prayer in the Tefillah, Ahavat Olam, Ahavat Olam, how God loved the entire realm of creation, the Olam. And as many of you, I think, are aware, in the secular calendar, this weekend, this Sunday, is a special day devoted to love. So as we consider how we show love to those who are closest to us, to our partners, to our family members, to those acquaintances who are special to us, let us also recall how love is sown from the Holy One to all of us, and it is that gift, that love that God has shown to us. That's what we get to give to others. So let's read together here at the top of the page. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. And we conclude with the final lines, 6 lines up from the bottom in the Hebrew. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem nege yomam belam Nege yomam v'layla Ki hem chayenu Be'orech yameinu Uvahem nege yomam v'layla Nege yomam v'layla Ve'ahavatecha Atasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch ata Adonai Oivamo Yisrael. Our hymn of unity, our statement of the oneness of all creation, Shema Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Adonai Echad. Adonai Echad. Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mizuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru v'atzitem et kol mitzotai v'tem kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem meretz Mitzrayim Le'od lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem emet. As we may recall from just 2 weeks ago, our Torah portion, Parshat Beshalach, was focused on the Shirat Hayam, the song at the sea that the Israelites sang as they crossed over from slavery to freedom. It's something that we recall twice a day, both in our morning and evening services, how important that moment is. And as we'll see, not only community responsibility, which I talked about in the beginning, but also the role of avadim, the role of servants, of indentured servants, of slaves, is a core part of the teaching of this week's Torah portion. So it is important that we recall that with words of Micha Mocha, which we will sing together after I read this top paragraph here. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Yada die die die, 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 yada die die die. Yada die 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 die, yada die die die. Yada die 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 die, yada die die die, yada die 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 die, yada die die die, die 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 die. Mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar hakodesh noratilot, o sefele, o sefele. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקיים לפני משה ומרים, מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקיים לפני משה ומרים, ידה די 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 די, ידה די די די, ידה די 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 די, ידה די די די, yada die 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 die, yada die die die, die 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 die. Saili Anwe Ameru Adonai Mloch Lelam Lelam Vae, yada die 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 die, yada die die die. Yada die 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 die, yada die die die, yada die 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 die, yada die die die, die 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 die. V'ne'emar kifad Adonai et Yaakov v'galo me'ad chazak mimenu. Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael. Yada die die die, 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 yada die die die. Yada die die die, yada die die die. With our Hashkivenu prayer, we ask for a Sukkot Shlomecha, a tabernacle of peace, a canopy of wholeness be placed over us while we sleep, while we rest, while we rejuvenate, ever the more so on Shabbat, as Shabbat provides a special opportunity for vayinafash, for resouling, a word you'll hear in Vishamru in just a moment. So I invite us to join together in the chant of Hana Tiferet. The only difference from the top line in your Siddur that's on the screen right now is Hana asks us to use the most ancient word for God that has been passed down, Ledor Vador, from generation to generation, and that's the word Yah. And Yah is, we'll sing, we'll at least evoke the words of Hallelujah in a little while as we say some special blessings for Rosh Chodesh. Hashkivenu Ya Eloheinu le Shalom. Hashkivenu Ya Eloheinu le Shalom. Now the third line. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Hashkivenu ya Eloheinu le shalom. Hashkivenu ya Eloheinu le shalom. Bottom of the paragraph. Baruch atah Adonai Haporei Sukat Shalom Aleinu, Sukat Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Amo Yisrael, Ve'al Yerushalayim. We share our gratitude for the gift of Shabbat with Hashkivenu. I'm sorry, I meant Vishamru. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asod et HaShabbat Lidorotam Brit Olam Heini uvein b'nei Yisrael Oti le'olam Ki sheishet yamim Asa Adonai Asa Adonai Et hashamayim ve'et haaretz Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash Vishamru B'nei Israel et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat L'torotam Brit Olam Vishamru B'nei Israel et HaShabbat. As we enter the core tefillah of our service, or Amidah, if you are in a comfortable place to stand, I invite you to do that at this point. And Adadai, dai, dai, adadai, dai, 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 dai. Yada die die die, yada die die die, yada die die die, ida die die die, yada die die die. Adonai sevatai tiftach, ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו ואהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayei Hakol Atah Rav Lehoshia Mashiv HaRuach Morid HaGashem מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לישני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך מלך ממיר ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי HaKol. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. So I invite us now to just take a few moments of quiet reflection, and after those couple of moments, we will be joined in our reflection by Randy Polivoy, who will have a special musical offering for us. So just all take a deep breath, and Randy will join us in just a few moments.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Randy.
Okay, I don't
Nope,
see
can't hear
myself on the screen. Oh, yeah, I'm unmuted here.
Want to try again, Rand?
Okay, Shabbat Shalom. Can you hear me?
Sounds good to me. Yep, sounds
Okay,
great.
but I don't see myself on the screen.
Well, I do, so I would continue. I would just, you're live on Facebook. I can see you on Facebook, so I think we're good.
Okay. Usually I fill up the screen, but anyway, I'm going to play something a little out of the. There we go. A little bit out of the ordinary. Going to draw from the Yiddish repertoire tonight for Shabbat. And this is a song that may be familiar to you. It certainly is one of my favorites. It's called Rozenkis mit Mandeln, or in English, Raisins and Almonds. And it is a traditional Jewish lullaby with music set by Abraham Goldfaden, I believe is the name. He incidentally is considered the father of Yiddish musical theater. And he wrote this song for a particular Yiddish musical way back in 1880. And it has become so popular and such a beloved piece. It has assumed the status of a classic folk song in Jewish Yiddish repertoire. So it has been also recorded by many, many artists over the years, too many to mention here. Just to mention a few, though, Itzhak Perlman, Chava Elberstein, et cetera, et cetera. So this is Raisins and Almonds by Abraham Goldfaden.
Thank you so much, Randy. That was beautiful.
Thank you. Shabbat shalom to everybody out there.
Shabbat shalom to you. Well, As I mentioned, it is Rosh Chodesh Adar, and on Rosh Chodesh we say special prayers of thanks to the Holy One, and it's called Hallel, and Eli's put up the Hallel prayers there. We're going to do the opening blessing and then that middle part from Psalm 118. Traditionally, we say a special blessing for the month. We did share that last Shabbat, so we won't do it again tonight. But I can just emphasize the sentiments. May this be a good month for all of us, a month of peace, of earning a livelihood, of wholeness, and because it's Adar, of simcha, of rejoicing, and happiness and joy. And may this be true for all of us. So, top of the page here. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu likro et ha'halel. Psalm 118. Hodu l'Adonai ki tov, ki le'olam chasto, ki le'olam chasto. Yomar na Yisrael, ki le'olam chasto, ki le'olam chasto. Yomru na ve'ed Aharon, ki le'olam chasto, ki le'olam chasto. Yomru na Yirei Adonai, ki le'olam chasto, ki le'olam chasto. Let all revere God's name now say, ki le'olam chasto. Give praise to God, for God is good. Ki le'olam chasto. Hodu l'Adonai ki tov, ki le'olam chasto, ki le'olam chasto. Baruch haba b'shem Adonai, berachnukem mibed Adonai, Eliata ve'odecha, Elohai aromemeka, Hodu l'Adonai ki tov, ki le'olam chasto. Hodu l'Adonai ki tov, ki le'olam chasto. Chodesh Tov, everyone. Happy new month of Adar. Just slip off my guitar here for a second. So as I mentioned as we opened the service, a lot going on this week, but at least Torah-wise. I don't know about anywhere else. I haven't noticed. But the Torah portion this week is Parashat Mishpatim. And Parshat Mishpatim are commandments, and there are really two basic categories of commandments in Torah. There are Mishpatim and Chukim. Mishpatim and Chukim. And Mishpatim are, in a very general sense, those commandments which we can make logical sense out of, right? You can see their value and you can see their meaning and you could see their usefulness in a relatively practical sense. The area of chukim are less obvious, although careful study and probing of the mysteries of the chukim, those commandments that may not appear on the surface to have a direct relevance or meaning, at least through the action, that meaning and relevance can be revealed with study and with doing them. I guess probably the best, one of the most evident examples of a chok might be kosher eating, right? Although we have tried to put logical framework around why we eat kosher, basically those who are committed to a kosher lifestyle do it because that's what the Torah says that is to be done, right? It's not necessarily a logical rule or law, such as maybe, stopping at a stop sign on Town Avenue as you are, driving to the synagogue. May that happen again speedily and soon, right? That we can kind of understand pretty easily. If you don't have a stop sign, it's much harder to control traffic. If you don't observe the stop sign, you run the risk of injury to yourself or to others. But the beginning of Parshat Mishpatim says something like this. Exodus 21:2, when you acquire an Eved Ivri, an Israelite indentured servant, that person shall serve 6 years and shall go free in the 7th year without payment. And Parshat Mishpatim begins with commandments governing the relationship between an Israeli master and an Eved Ivri, a fellow Hebrew who has maybe defaulted on a loan and therefore must have to work off the debt. For modern Jews, it is jarring to read about Israelites enslaving others. So soon after God freed them from Egyptian slavery, right? This occurs within really 3 chapters after the Parshat Beshalach that we just talked about earlier, the journey through the sea from slavery to freedom. From antiquity to the present day, debt has been an unavoidable economic necessity for many. It is therefore not surprising that the Torah strives to make borrowing humane by incorporating debt limitations into the social contract of the newly freed Israelites. The limit of this debt, Parshat Mishpatim instructs, quote, if you lend money to my people, to the poor among you, do not act towards them as a creditor, exact no interest from them. And that is in 22:24. Echoing the humanity of interest-free loans, a borrower's cloak could serve as a collateral, but it had to be returned at night for sleeping in the cold. And if you want to read more along those lines, there's a wonderful Devar Torah on our URJ website for this parsha. But I want to focus on something related to that my teacher, Rabbi Mel Gottlieb, who was the Rosh Yeshiva, the head of the seminary that I attended, pointed out in his commentary this week. He says, the basic goals of the Jewish judicial system are the social equilibrium of the community and the moral perfection of its members, to inculcate through its laws human decency and moral responsibility, hence the details of a legal system. So if one steals, one is also obliged to pay back double the cost of the stolen object. If the law were interested in restitution, simple reimbursement would have sufficed. However, the Torah is also interested in the thief's rehabilitation, so he must suffer the same impact. By paying double, he is out of pocket the same amount as the victim. The punishment makes amends to the victim and educates the victimizer. This type of religious ethic, Rabbi Gottlieb continues, this type of sensitivity is what led to a respect for law and property to the extent that the Talmud proclaimed a few thousand years ago when people would go up to Jerusalem on their annual holiday pilgrimages, that they left their homes unguarded. And on their return, they found everything intact, without any policemen to guard against thieves. The explanation is that the belief in God, the relationship of the Ten Commandments to the ethical laws, is what prevents crimes, not legislation, punishments, or even capital punishment. Many of the laws of Mishpatim are commandments to exercise self-control when temptation is the greatest in one's relationship to the weak and the defenseless. The test of a society is how it treats the powerless. At times, the natural laws must be interrupted to protect the weak, unlike what Darwin and Nietzsche may preach, that it's all about survival of the fittest. Many ecologists believe that death is part of the natural order and that phenomenon contributes to the larger ecosystem. But Judaism goes in a bit of a different direction. It teaches that morality transcends nature. The commandment to love the stranger is mentioned 36 times, more than any other commandment. We must interrupt that natural order to protect the powerless. An example of this is the law that one must help his enemy and overcome his hatred by practicing kindness and interaction. As it states in Exodus 23, verses 4 and 5, quote, "One must return one's enemy's ox if he wanders off, or if you see your enemy's donkey lying under its burdens. Help your enemy lift it. Do not intensify feelings that already exist by not returning his ox, for if your enemy hears about it, it'll only make him the more bitter. On the other hand, by doing a kindly action, you may restore some element of harmony." The rabbis attached such importance to this law that they declared that, should your father tell you to ignore it, this is an instance where it must be disobeyed. Rabbi Gottlieb concludes, yes, friends, the study of Torah can bring us joy and happiness. So in this month of Adar, we are enjoined to increase our study and to be joyous. May we all be blessed to bathe in the gems of the Torah as our soul dances to its tunes, its uplifting messages to create the ideal society. Let us each do our parts and come to Purim to celebrate in joy and in faith. Shabbat Shalom. And a big thank you to our reformjudaism.org and to Rabbi Mel for giving me a chance to share those words. So we're going to move to turn our hearts, as our Torah teaches us, to those in need, particularly those in need of healing, with Misha Berach. So if Eli could put up page 253, there it is. Thank you so much. Me re-instrument myself. And I think tonight we will use words of healing. Sorry, I'm just looking for my earphones. We'll invoke words of healing that also come directly from the Torah, this book of the Torah. The words El na rifana la, El na rifana lo. God, please heal her, and God, please heal him, and refers to Moses pleading for healing for his sister Miriam. Yishaberach Avoteinu Avraham Yitzchak Ve'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel V'Leah U'Yivarech ויברך על החולים. אל נא רפנה, אל נא רפנה לה, אל נא רפנה, אל נא רפנה לו. We ask for blessings of healing for Rebecca Gilman, Bela Pasternak, Hannah Fields Austin, Sue Toback, Alicia Goldfarb, Paula Steinbach, Rosalind Lefkowitz, Helen Weinfeld, Gabrielle Silton, Pam Poliakoff, Connie Shapiro, Kathy Blumenfeld, Gloria Austin, Caitlin Antrim, Judy Bosworth, Kathy Brewster, Doug Austin, Stephanie Holland, Jennifer Rudin, Susan Gruer, Charity Rezada, Ed Ansell, Miriam Snyders, Kimberly Zimmerman, Lori Snyder, Brad Holland, Isley Holland, Mike Klein, Beatrice Caden, Meg Silton, Henry Gerard, Kirby Perkins, Brenda Fong Gerard, Serena Postal, Nancy Brewster, Bobby Kay, Dan Ione, Bonnie Stead, Jay Adelberg, Liz Fields, Jerry Binstock, Marilyn Freeman, Robert Strober, Ava Bespris, Robin Goichenberg, Marilyn Lubarsky, Joey Gant, Joe Kummerman, Rabbi Janet Bieber, Agnes Magaha, Sharon Stein, Shar Alpert, Stan Stein, Carol Sage, Lynn Winbrandt, and I have one more additional name here. Which I'm sorry, I don't see at the moment. Sorry, I thought there was one other name that I was text. El Narefana, El Narefana la, El Narefana, El Narefana lo. I believe it was Judy Rose who was holding someone in her heart. So, Judy, I'm sorry I didn't have the name right in front of me, but may healing come speedily and soon. So, as we move forward towards the conclusion of our service, I believe that now is time for our announcements. So I'd like to invite Jeff Pass to join us. There he is. Get him up on the screen here.
Shabbat
Shalom, Jeff.
Greetings from the Temple Board, and thank you to Canna Paul for managing the entire service with such sensitivity and insight with a learned commentary. Thank you to Randy for Raisins and Almonds. It's what a treat to be exposed to a new folk song. I hope to hear that one again. Thank you to Eli Kupitz for keeping the technology going. We know how important that is these days. In terms of announcements, I want to remind everyone that we have a social action committee that's going to be meeting this Sunday at 10 a.m. We have lots of new folks coming on board and lots of new projects we're taking on to try and serve the community. We can use your help, and you would benefit from the involvement. If you're at all interested, contact any member of the leadership, and we'll make sure that you get the link. Mark your calendars for RAC California's seminar. RAC California is the social justice arm, social action arm of Reform Judaism. And we have one in California, and they meet in March to decide on, in a very thorough way, which items to put on the legislative agenda. They usually only identify one, maybe two areas, and the discussion is rich. You'll learn a lot. The sessions are going to be March 10th at 7 p.m. or March 11th at noon. You could choose either one or both, and you'd learn a lot. So if you're all interested in that, I'll let somebody know. And then finally, we have a DEI, a Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee that's just getting off the ground. If you're a member of a group that is worthy of greater inclusion, would provide greater diversity, we'd love to have you come on board. And if you are just supportive of that effort, we'd love to have you come on board. And that will be meeting monthly. We'll have another one, actually more than once a month. We'll have one in a couple of weeks. If you're all interested, let the rabbi or Dina or somebody know. And Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you so much, Jeff. I have just a couple of things to mention. One, those of you who got the TBI email this week or looked at our Facebook page or looked at our TBI website may have noticed that there's a big graphic promoting or at least sharing the opportunity to get Hamantashen for Purim, to help celebrate Purim. As I mentioned, almost just a little under 2 weeks from now, next 2 weeks, Thursday night. And can be a little hard in our community to find great Hamantashen. So we made some arrangements with a wonderful bakery in the San Fernando Valley, Continental Kosher Bakery, to provide Hamantashen for our community. And if you are interested in getting some, please take a look at the information that's online right now, and fill out an order form. I noticed there's one item of redundancy in the order form, that the email, it asks for your email twice. That's not necessary. You can fill it out twice if you want. I will we'll get back to you with payment information once we receive your request, but all those requests have to be in by Tuesday night, because we want to make sure that the bakery has enough lead time and that we have an opportunity to get them to TBI and distribute them starting 1 week from this Sunday. All that information is on the little promotional item there. So please check it out. If you have any questions, call the office, send us an email, send us a chat, whatever you need to do, and we will be happy to help you out. Other than that, I think Jeff did a good job covering a lot of the things coming up. Please consider one other thing that is happening on Sunday besides a lot of candy and flowers being exchanged, and that is supporting our Jewish Federation. For this Sunday is Super Sunday, so you may receive an outreach from our federation. Please consider supporting the vital work that links all of the Jewish communities of the San Gabriel and Pomona Valleys together. Otherwise, all the adult Jewish learning stuff is up on our website. We have we have some new things starting in March. So look out for the publicity about that. And the only other thing I want to say is that a couple minutes ago, you might have heard me mention the name Judy Rose. Judy is one of those wonderful individuals who does a lot of outreach work for our community, reaching out to people who are maybe not be formally affiliated with TBI, but could be interested. If you are one of those, I urge you to just drop us some sort of communication. Again, email, phone, chat, Facebook message, whatever works. Let us know who you are. Let us know you're out there. We would love to help you learn more about TBI, especially as we all look forward to increasing or really resuming our in-person opportunities. It's not happening yet, but we are looking to make sure that when we do resume in-person contact, that we take what we've learned from this past virtual almost year. It'll be a year in 2 weeks that we've been leading our services only online. and integrate, all of the people who have been able to join us. Keep up the virtual, of course, but also hope to build an even stronger in-person community. And I think the things that Jeff talked about in terms of social action and outreach on specific projects in the community will be um, a great will be a great benefit connected with that effort. So anyway, thank you again, Jeff, for sharing on behalf of the board. And I invite us all to join in Aleinu. If you are comfortable standing, it's another opportunity to do so. And if you'd like, could share page 283, I believe, 282. There it is. The bottom paragraph. There you go. Aleinu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה לעוצב ראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצון, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Page 287. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. We take this opportunity as we turn our hearts to Kaddish to reflect on those we have lost from our midst in recent days and those who have departed at this time in seasons past. We particularly remember the recent passings of Helen Pruitt, mother of Ed Pruitt, Lou Charloff, father of Ruth Charloff, Bruce Arthur Pasternak, stepfather of Natalie Horowitz, Harold Loeb, father of Joshua Loeb, Carol Mann Horowitz, cousin of Stuart Mann, Barbara Jean Cowling Bryan, mother of Stephanie Baker, and Diana Schifris, mother of Jeff Schifris. We also mark this Shabbat the Yurtzites, the anniversaries of the passings of George Becker, Dr. David Brown, Marilyn Friedman, Jack Hutchinson, Dorothy Levin, Ruth H. Levine, Saul Levine, George J. Levy, Jeanette Mallam, Ann Mendelson, Samuel Muni Posner, Enrique Rubenstein, Lee Walensky, Dora Greenberg, Louis Grossman, Minnie Heisler, Burton Hendricks, Dorothy Krause, Yetta Lefkowitz, Robert I. Levine, Samuel Lichtenstein, B.B. Mullane, Milton Shapiro, Marilyn Talve, Alan Art, Diana Metlitsky, Maria Rebun, Molly Singer-Sandbank, Sidney Tickton, Myra Weiner, Martin Howard Bosworth, Barbara Bush Kaplan, Howard Hyman, Kate Kampf, Lois Yetta Kramer, Jeanette Mallam, Rose Solton, Mitzi Sopkin, Anita Strumar, Jules Swerdloff, Martin Comey, Elaine Feig, Martin Nathanson, Jenny Orloff, Fanny Stern, Carol Wiley, Miriam Ackoff, Zena Baumgarten, David Goodless, Alan Goldberg, Jaime Gull, Moisha Judah Levy, Eliza Morag, Ellen Sandler, Simon Waldman, Olga Estrin, Herman Master, Abraham Schwartz, and Katie Zwelling. If you're in a time of mourning and or observing a yurtzeit and the name you hold in your heart was not mentioned, please feel free to put it into the chat as we recite these words of Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayachon uv'yomechon uv'chayedechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'gala uv'izman kariv ve'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach le'olam ul'olmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. May the Holy One grant peace to those who mourn and console those who are bereaved, and let us say, Amen. We conclude our service in the, I guess, pretty traditional TBI way these days with the last paragraph of Adon Olam, beginning like this. Be'ado av kiduchi ve'nishan ve'a'ira ve'imruchi geviati Adonai li ve'lo yira ve'imruchi geviati Adonai li ve'lo ira. My soul I give to you, my spirit in your care. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Hold me in your hand. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Safely in your hand. Be'ado av kiduchi, be'nishan ve'a'ira, ve'imruchi geviati, Adonai li ve'lo yira, ve'imruchi geviati, Adonai li ve'lo So just give me a second to pop off the guitar. And if you have a cup of wine or juice, you're welcome to join me in Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kadsho, v'ahava ufratzon, hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikraya kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim. Kivanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, v'kol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ava uvratzon, hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Chaim. Good. Just one more thing before we join together for Motzi. I did not mention in announcements that 2 weeks from tonight, we will continue the tradition of the last number of years and have a Scout Shabbat for all of our scouts, both in our congregation and in the entire San Gabriel and Pomona Valleys. If you have a scout and you have not yet been made aware of this, information should be to you very shortly from our Scoutmasters, but otherwise, if you'd like to join, we would love to have you. And of course, you can contact us and we will make sure that you get the information forwarded to you. So reach out a virtual hand, put your hand on the hand of the challah, and here we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, everybody. One more special thank you to Eli Kupitz for handling the Siddur tech and all the other things over on his side of Claremont. We really appreciate that support and really appreciate all you being here. We will be back on our Zoom Siyum channel at 6:45 tomorrow evening for Havdalah. Please join us then. See you then. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Randy.